Welcome to video 14 of 16. In this one, Allie and Patrick are going to talk about policy changes. Did you know that membership in the Specialty Insurance Agents of Florida has more benefits? Check them out at siaof.com when you get a chance. This lesson was brought to you by Affinity Insurance Agency, so you be sure to contact them before you renew your E&O insurance.
A change of mailing address. Sometimes we have to do a change of mailing address because maybe the wrong address was given at submission. We didn't get it entered correctly, or it wasn't entered correctly on the front end, so we need to change it, or the address doesn't match the USPS scrub. It's also worth noting that only American U.S. addresses are sent through the USPS. Foreign mailing addresses are not scrubbed. So if they are incorrect, we wouldn't find out until later. Another reason why we would do the mailing address change. We also would do a mailing address change if the mailing address should be different from the property address. It's the property we're insuring is a rental and the insured lives somewhere else. Or if the policy is being canceled because the policy was sold, the property was sold, so we do have the ability to change the mailing address at cancellation so that the any unearned premium could be returned to the consumer as quickly as possible. And we're going to go back to Policy Center and see if we can demo for you a change of mailing address policy change. And so I'm back in looking at the policy we just set up. I'm going to click the policy number for that policy. And then you can see here that now we've got several different numbers all over the place here for this policy. We've got the account number in blue, which means we're not at the account level. We could click that and go to the account. We're at the policy level. We've got a policy number issued. You can also see the account number and the summary screen here. And if we scroll down to the bottom of the screen here, we'll see policy transactions. This first completed transaction is the submission with a transaction number, and then the transactions in progress showing an issuance pending payment with a transaction number, and you'll notice a column that says underwriter, currently unassigned. If you were to submit a risk unbound or bound unapproved, then once it went through the system and all the documents were uploaded and the payment was uploaded to the system, then the system would assign an underwriter, and this would be where you would see that underwriter's name as it's been assigned to them. So since this one's still pending payment, we can't do a policy change on this one. I'm going to pick one of my other policies, and this is a bound approved submission, and it's already been issued. This policy has been issued. If I went back to my desktop, I would see this activity that says the policy has been issued. So now I need to make a policy change for this to change their mailing address. I'm going to click on Actions and go all the way down to New Transaction, Change Policy, and give it the effective date is today, and we're going to put in a description, change mailing address. Click Next. Takes us into the policy change. You'll notice that the account status is showing policy change draft instead of premium estimated or anything like that. We're now in a policy change and it's in a draft status. So I'm going to click my Next button just to scroll through pages to get to where my mailing address is. And its current mailing address is here. I need to change that to a Jacksonville mailing address here. So I'm just going to change that to 6676 Corporate Center Parkway and spell Jacksonville correctly. And then, of course, I have to standardize this mailing address like I did before, and it gives me the standardized address. So I'm clicking Accept Standardize, click OK. I've changed the mailing address, and now that I've done that, I can click Premium Estimate to move forward with my policy change. We understand we didn't make a premium bearing change, but that's how we move forward into getting the ability to upload documents if we need to and request approval from underwriting. So we're going to click Premium Estimate, and the system comes up and tells us this policy change will require underwriting approval prior to issuance. And I'm going to check the required documents page to make sure that there's no additional required document from the system. And since there isn't, I'm going to click the Request Approval button. And now you'll see that the status has changed to Policy Change Pending Underwriting Decision. And you'll see also that an underwriter has been assigned, and it's showing under Underwriting Review. So if I were to go back to the policy level here, I would see that there is now a new current activity with a due date, high priority, review and approve policy change, and the underwriter that it's assigned to. And you'll see that there's also that transaction in progress at the bottom showing the status pending underwriting decision. It's a policy change, who the underwriter is, and any comments that we made. Change the mailing address. So that's how we would go through doing a policy change to change a mailing address. Another common policy change would be to apply wind mitigation credits for installed shutters. Agents will need to provide a completed OIR B1-1802 or MITBIT 2 and 3 form in order to apply any wind loss mitigation credit. The 1802 must be submitted with photos in order to substantiate most credits, including opening protection. Agents should verify that the form has been completed and signed by an appropriately licensed professional. Another common policy change is to decrease Coverage A. For any Coverage A change request, both an increase and a decrease, agents will need to initiate the policy change activity and edit the 360 value that's already in the policy. If coverage is to be based on an acceptable alternative valuation, the agent will need to attach that to the policy change activity as well. As a reminder, the signatures of all non-married named insureds is required in order to decrease coverage or increase deductibles. Another common policy change is to add a mortgagee to the list bill. This is a two-part activity. First, we send the activity to Billing Center to request that the mortgagee be added to the list in the system. And when that's complete, then you start the policy change as we've already shown you, indicating that we're adding the mortgagee to the policy, and then process the policy change as we would before.
All right, so at the beginning of this webinar, I talked about pointing out the training resources that are available to you. So we've prepared several guided practice modules to help you become familiar with using Policy Center. These resources are available to you on the Citizens Insurance Training website under the Policy Center orientation link. All right, so we'll go ahead and click on the Policy Center orientation. All right, so please be sure to review these orientation modules. These modules will provide a refresher for what we showed you today, as well as some other awesome information. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Writing New Business. Okay, and you see that we have some more modules and job aids listed here about writing new business. Remember, I said there was a job aid that steps you through withdrawing a transaction. Here it is, this last link here, withdrawing a transaction. All right, so I'll go ahead and click on Servicing the Policy now. We talked a bit about servicing your policies when we mentioned changing your mailing address and Coverage A and applying wind mitigation credits. So we have many more modules and job aids listed on this, this link here. All right, and then lastly, I wanted to point you to the Policy Center training environment link, and this is where we played around in today. We do encourage you to use that training environment. You can practice new business exercises we showed you. You can create an account, create a quick quote, a full application, or even withdraw the transaction. Now, the only thing that you won't be able to do in the training environment is practice servicing the policy features, only because underwriting won't be approving transactions within the training environment. right, and so we also encourage you to complete the training modules and use the knowledge base. And again, that's where you can find answers to your frequently asked questions as well as access any job aids. Okay?